in there. So
okay, sorry, Rich.
I'm gonna start the Dayquil NyQuil regimen, and
the
hopefully
first couple seconds were without audio because I totally missed that it wasn't going. We have audio now. We're fine.
Okay.
Rich, you're not feeling great. Welcome everybody, and let's keep going. Yeah, I'm exhausted.
How are you, Mike?
I'm exhausted. I fell asleep watching, TV with my wife on the couch. My wife stayed awake, which is good, but it was bad. Long day, long couple of days. Hosted Thanksgiving today, so I'm ready to. I'm glad that we only have one true sport to talk about today, really, and we'll be quick. So with that, we're talking football. That's what we're talking today. I don't know that there's anything else I need to say about it. Rich, we have one other thing I see on the list.
Yeah, we had some little bit of NASCAR news come out as 23 is some news to come out of with JD Doherty, 2311, and RFK. But really, the main bulk of the show is going to be football.
Yeah.
So, Mike, what's it time to do?
It's time to go ahead and roll the intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Okay, Rich. As we do every week, we have a poll question. And that poll question this week was bacon versus omelets. Once again, that was bacon versus omelets. So, Rich, I didn't think this was a tough pick.
Neither did I, but I got a feeling with you're looking at the results. I guess before you give the results, I went with bacon.
We had 20 votes, Rich.
Wow.
We had 20 votes. And we have a problem.
Do we have a tie?
Yes. Can you, is your wife available for a poll question?
I believe she is. So I have a wireless headset.
Actually, hang on. Let me. We have a trained professional for such occasions. It's 9:30, so he might be asleep. But we have a trained professional for this. So let's see.
Our normal tiebreaker vote is his dad, Joe Hart.
We're gonna see what happens here. Hey, you're live on the podcast. Just wanted to give you a heads up. We have a tie for breakfast food. So we called our resident tiebreaker, as you are the expert in breaking ties for this show. Your choices are bacon or an omelet. Just bacon or just an omelet?
Well, an omelet has something in it, so by definition, and they're always good no matter what you put in it. So I would go with an omelet.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but thank you, Joe.
Rich says, thank you. We will talk to you in a couple of days. Love you. Bye. Ooh, that is a controversial vote.
It is, but we kind of knew with putting an omelet in the poll, that's been
the problem.
That's been the problem, because most of the time you can make so many things can go into an omelet to make it, as Joe said, it's good no matter what you put in it, or no matter what type of omelet it is.
Now, I applaud him for not saying, well, you can put bacon in an omelet, because that would have been a problem.
Yeah.
Would have been a problem. I would have excluded the vote, and it would have been over at that point. Because at that point, you're voting for the bacon in the omelet, and then I think the bacon wins. But he voted for the omelet. We don't rig these things, folks. It was a perfect 50-50 match. 10 votes for bacon, which is where I voted as well. Let me read the people that voted for bacon, and then we'll let you know who voted for omelet. Pam Hendricks, Tyler Allen, Ashley Shreepeck, Josh Hendricks, Gail Welchman, David Hovinga, me, you, Deborah Scott, and Nathan Ross.
All right, for the omelet, joining Joe Hart as our tiebreaker vote was Solomon Stroop, Tyler Myers, Sue Hart, Tina, Teresa Shreepeck, Matt Johnson, Austin Shreepeck, Rick Davis, Craig Johnson, Mickey O'Roderer, and Mark Stewart.
Yeah, that's a wow. I kind of was expecting that. I will admit, I was expecting. I kind of expected him to vote that way.
I'm a little bit surprised because I think at the very beginning of this poll question, we said, well, it's pointless to have all this because we know Bacon's going to win.
Yeah,
and Bacon lost.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Hopefully the next time we have a food entree, it will be different enough from an omelet that you won't have that question of, well, everything that can go inside of an omelet, so I'm going to vote for an omelet, or no matter how you prepare an omelet, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some truth to that. I don't think I've ever had a bad omelet.
Nope. And I still swear to this day that if anybody wants to really, you need to try, and I'm telling you, you're going to cringe when people cringe when I say it, a jelly omelet. Delicious.
All right. So, Mike, we're going to be going back to the cereal side of the poll. It's our first Final Four matchup for the cereal. We're going to be going Cinnamon Toast Crunch versus Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Yes.
So I'll try and get that up tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow. So, Mike, let's go away from our poll question and go into the meat of the show and go on to the gridiron to review our Week 11 picks.
Okay. So, Rich, for the Bears-Packers game, we both picked the Packers. Almost missed it, but the Packers blocked a field goal at the last minute to win 20-19.
I was a little disappointed in it, but at the same time, I guess I don't fault him for settling for the field goal. I think it was good defense. Could you have gotten a little bit deeper, make it an easier field goal? I think they could have, but with the way the Bears offense usually plays, would you want to try for a deep pass into the end zone and risk a sack taking you out of the field goal range? With the way the Bears offensive line is, I thought they did the right thing with getting the ball centered and setting up the field goal.
So what I'm going to argue against on that whole side of all of it, I'm going to argue against the fact that there should have been you can't touch the center until a second after the snap. There is clear evidence that the snap had not even fully happened. It hadn't even fully finished by the time the Packers were on top of them. I don't know. I want them to lose. So there's that. Yeah, I struggle.
Yeah. So the Bears fall to 4-6. We are both 6-4, picking the Bears.
Yeah.
Locks of the week, Mike. We totally crushed those picks, Mike. As you picked the Texans over the Cowboys, they won convincingly 34-10 on Monday Night Football. Mike, you're still 11-0.
Yep.
Mike, I'm above 500 as the Lions dominated the Jaguars to the tune of 52-6.
Yeah, that was never. By the way, that score has never happened in the history of the NFL. That has never been a final score. Yeah, I don't even. There's not even words for that one. Upset special of the week, Rich. I picked the Falcons over the Broncos.
I'm looking that up right now because I just realized I forgot to fill that in. That game, Mike, was a 38-6 victory for the Denver Broncos. Mike, you said that the Dirty Birds would win that game.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Didn't work out, but mine wasn't much better, as I said the Browns would go. I was believing in that Jameis Winston hype and positivity, and it didn't work out as the Browns lost 35-14.
But then on Thursday, neither one of us believed in the hype, and the Browns pulled it off 24-19. Rich, I am 5-7 on Thursday night. You are 7-5. Week 12. This is the biggest week in our picking, as we have 4 games before that we're picking mandatory games for next week, and then our normal slate of upsets and the Bears pick for this week. So a lot of stuff there to talk about. Do you want to do that, or do you want to go into? Let's do a standings check now.
Okay.
Because we are, I mean, that the what has happened this week affects the standings, whereas what hasn't. So let me get to it. Okay.
Okay. So let me know when I have the predictions up.
I have the standings up. Where do you want to start?
Up. All right, Mike, we're going to start in the NFC East. Mike, we both put the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey, we're doing great. They are on top of the division by 2 games, technically. They're 8-2 on the season. But the Commanders have not had their bye week yet, so...
All right. In the North, Mike, we both said the Detroit Lions would win that division.
9-1, and the top spot in the North.
In the South, we went with the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons.
They are on top, 6-5 on the year.
Okay, but that's still a tight division, though, as I know that easily...
Nobody wants to win it?
I don't know if nobody wants to win it, but I think the Buccaneers, as they're getting healthy and get Mike Evans back, they could make a run at the division.
They really could.
Mike, out west, we went with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, they're at 5-5.
Okay.
Last place, but they're tied with the Seahawks.
All right.
And the Rams, by the way. So they're in last and second place all at the same time. So they're only 1 game behind the Cardinals.
All right.
So it's
Mike, Mike, we both put the Packers in as a wild card team. If the season were to end today, would the Packers make it as a wild card team?
There are 3 wild cards. Right?
There are. I am using the Sleeper app to look at the standings and by the playoff standings. The Packers are a yes.
Yes.
They are the number 6 seed.
Correct.
Right now, Mike, we both said that the Dallas Cowboys would make it as a wild card team.
Nope.
Yes, they are right now the 15th seeded team
Yeah.
in it, and by their record, Mike. Well, we'll get into where we have them in our power rankings, but they're more closer to the bottom than they are at the top.
Yep.
The two teams that we differed on, Mike, were the Rams and the Seahawks.
So the Rams wouldn't make it, nor would the Seahawks, but they are both at 500 right now, which potentially could make it.
Yes, the Rams and the Seahawks are at seeds 8 and 9 currently in the NFC.
So we would have missed on the Vikings.
Yeah, we missed on the Vikings and we missed on the Commanders.
Yeah.
And I think going into the season, Mike, we kind of thought that the Vikings would be the last place team in the division, and lo and behold, it's the Chicago Bears.
Well, if nothing more, the Vikings lost their quarterback. We made these predictions after the Vikings lost their quarterback.
Yep, so we knew full well that Sam Darnold was going to be the man under center.
Who knew that Kevin Stefanski,
Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, no, yeah, it's Kevin O'Connor. Who knew that Kevin O'Connell would just take that team and run with it? So that was amazing. Yeah.
All right, Mike. Moving over to the AFC, Mike, I went with the Miami Dolphins winning the East. Mike, you went with the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills win the East handily at this point. In fact, even if they lose out, I think they win. Or they're at 500. So
yeah, I think they've got the division locked up.
Yeah.
And Mike, you said it when I tabbed the Dolphins being the winner. I mean they're there, but
win
when
and die.
Tua goes down.
Yep.
When Tua goes down,
they live and die by Tua.
And he missed some games. He missed those 4 games, and the Dolphins put themselves into a hole.
Yep.
Mike, we also disagreed on the North, as I went with the Baltimore Ravens. You went with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, the Bengals are looking terrible as they are 4-7 on the year. But the Ravens are in second place. Steelers currently have the North.
Yeah, I think in a couple weeks that though the North could look different as they start having divisional games. Much like the North probably won't look much different, but in theory it could.
Yep.
Based on how the division games go. Yep. Mike, in the South, we both picked the Houston Texans.
They are number 1. And I'm guessing in the West we both picked the Kansas City Chiefs. And
we did.
Guess what? They are number 1. 900 on the year.
All right, Mike. For a really bad take, I was believing that the Browns defense would be just as good as it was last year, and that even if their offense sputtered, their defense would keep them in games. And I said that they would get a wild card spot. The Browns are nowhere near making a playoffs.
I don't even know if the Browns can. They would have to win every game from here on out just to break 500.
You're probably right. Mike, you gave a wild card spot to the Baltimore Ravens. Would they make the playoffs?
I believe so. Yes, they will. Yes, they would. If it was this week, if it started this week, yes, they would. As the second wild card team. Yes.
All right, Mike. I gave a wild card spot to the Cincinnati Bengals. You gave a wild card spot to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins currently sit as the number 9 seed. The Bengals are the number 10 seed in the conference.
Yeah, so we missed on the Chargers.
And the Denver Broncos, as we both put a bad take of that Aaron Rodgers would have a comeback year and would get the Jets into the playoffs. But the Jets are currently the 12th seed.
So, speaking of, it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is going to try to come back for the 2025 season. Who hires him?
I don't know. He's gonna have to, if he goes somewhere else, he's gonna have to put his ego aside.
Oh, he won't.
not-
He has to be a starter.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be a starter. I guarantee you. He will not take a job as a backup. I guarantee it.
No.
So, who's going to hire him? He'll take league minimum, I'm guessing. But who at this point needs a quarterback that bad? Tennessee? Maybe Miami. Miami's where he goes.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say Miami because Miami's I don't want to put this out there. If the inevitable happens and Tua Tagovailoa retires or medically goes down again, he goes down to Miami and plays for the for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't know where Aaron Rodgers goes. There's talk that I could have swore there was talk that the owner wanted him benched, but that they might
do.
just eat the dead cap hit and just release him.
Wait. Oh, speaking of, the other New York team, the football Giants have released Daniel Jones.
Yeah, they benched him in favor of second-year starter Tommy DeVito and granted his request to be released.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, who do you think is more likely to get signed? Daniel Jones or Aaron Rodgers?
Daniel Jones. He's young. He has more athleticism at this point than Aaron Rodgers does. Yeah, I'm saying Daniel Jones.
All right, Mike, for our Super Bowl picks, I went with the Lions over the Ravens, and you went with the Chiefs over the Lions. How are you feeling about that pick today?
If I was picking today, I would pick the Lions over the Chiefs. I think the Lions are the team to beat right now.
Okay.
I think they...
I think right now,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think if I had to re-pick today, I think I would go Lions over the Bills, or even the Bills over the Lions.
I can go with that, too.
But the thing that comes out with Kansas City is they turn it on in the playoffs.
They'll limp into the playoffs and then turn the playoffs into the game
The
to
tune-up
yeah,
to get...
and they'll be it and they'll win. And at this point, I find it hard to pick against the Chiefs anyway. So, yeah. With that, Rich, let's go into Week 12. Give you our predictions. Then we're going to give you our power rankings that help explain a little bit about our picks of the week. So, week number 12, Bears play the Vikings tomorrow in Soldier Field. Who you got?
I'm going to take the Vikings. The Bears got to prove it to me that they're...
Yep, 100%.
That they can put together a whole game. That Packers game, they showed improvement on offense, or at least they played better than they had the past couple weeks, but
100%.
they couldn't tie it all together and get the win.
Totally agree.
So, Vikings. Mike, my lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers over the New York Football Giants.
I think that's a solid pick. I am going to pick the Lions over the Colts.
I like that as well. The Colts are, I think they're still trying to figure out if Anthony Richardson is he is a franchise quarterback, or if they need to keep looking for somebody. So, but I'm almost afraid to pick with the Giants right now because I don't know what Tommy DeVito could do. So I could see a trap game coming in that, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to stick with it.
And it's actually a true trap game as the tape on him is so limited. There's so little knowledge of what's going to happen. Like, it's so limited tape on what's going to happen in that game. You never know. So, okay, what do you got for an upset special? What are you feeling? There's not a lot of great ones out this week.
Upset special, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals over the Seahawks. I'd like this pick a little bit better if it was being played in Glendale, Arizona, instead of in Seattle.
Yep.
But I don't. That was the one that stuck out to me, so I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
Okay, Rich, I am gonna pick. I'm gonna paint a picture, and we're getting into the reason why we called this game the way that it is.
Okay.
Or this show, why we called it what it is. We normally don't acknowledge it, but okay, you ready for this?
Sure.
A team that is doing okay, but is a good team, going up against a terrible team, then to have a game on Thursday against a tough team. Classic definition of
A trap game.
it's a trap. I am picking Miami to lose against the Patriots. It's a divisional game, so because it's a divisional game, the Patriots are coming into this saying we have to win this because we suck. The Dolphins are coming into it saying we're gonna win this because we're better than them. And let's look at what we got to do. Let's look at some tape for Thursday's game against the Green Bay Packers. Gonna be a trap. So 100% I'm on board with this is a trap game. With that being a trap game, Patriots win.
Gotcha. All right, Thanksgiving holiday game. So, because there's a chance that we may not record before the Black Friday game kicks off, we are picking that game tonight.
Yep, let's do it.
So, in the out event that we do record before that game kicks off, we can use that. That game will be eligible as a lock or an upset.
Okay.
All right, Thanksgiving Day game. The action kicks off on CBS when the Bears go to Detroit to face the Lions. I'm going to take the Lions.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if the Bears were playing as we thought they would, I think I'd still take Detroit.
right. Even if the Bears are looking like a contender, I still think the Lions were the better team anyway. The Lions win this game. Rich, then we have the Fox game, America's game.
It's a good nap game. Depending on when you eat your Thanksgiving meal, it's either going to be while this game is going on. So you're not, if you're a football fan, I don't think you're going to be missing anything. Or if you've eaten your meal earlier, by the time this game is on, it's nap time. Or you're thinking about, or is it time to eat the leftovers and have the second meal? So I'm gonna go with the Giants in this game because I think the Cowboys have a losing streak on Thanksgiving going on, and I think that continues.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm picking the Cowboys. You know who doesn't win this? Who loses? Guarantee 100% gonna lose. Rich.
Who?
America.
Yeah, but you know who wins, Mike?
Who?
Jerry Jones, because all the eyes of America will be on him.
I think I'm
and
gonna watch
his Cowboys. So he
watch
makes
the
money.
Dog show on repeat. I'm just gonna watch the dog show.
All right, and then Mike, the evening game, we'll see the Miami Dolphins go down to Green Bay to take on the Packers. I'm going to take the Packers in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins. This will be their get right game. This is where they start to do things that get them better and better. So hopefully they are back on track for them to do something.
Yeah, or it's a must-win game for them because they lost to their divisional rival in the Patriots.
Yeah,
like you're calling for it. So
Yep.
it's either a game that they get back to 500 with this win, or they get back on track because they're reeling from that loss in week number 12. And our final game, Mike, who's playing on the first ever Black Friday game?
Yeah, this is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Raiders of Las Vegas.
Yeah, with the game being in Kansas City, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yep,
Uh,
I agree.
But
Yeah,
I thought the same thing when they played on Christmas Day last year and the Raiders pulled off an upset.
yeah.
And the Raiders pulled it off. So, a divisional game, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, Rich, with that, I think that's all the football we have to pick.
That is correct. So there's going to be slim pickings for the week 13 games as we'll have 4 less games to choose from. So Mike, with that, let's go ahead and go into our power rankings.
Okay, let's go into it. Power rankings this week. Rich, you want to start at the top or at the bottom?
Let's change it up and let's go with the bottom, Mike.
Okay.
So team number 32 for me is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I don't think you're 100% wrong on this, except for the fact that the Cleveland Browns exist. I actually have the Jaguars much higher than you.
Okay, and I have the Cleveland Browns a little higher, not much higher. They're still in the bottom 5, but they're there, and they'll be going up because of their victory over Pittsburgh for next week. But that's next week's problem. I put the Browns a little bit higher, but they're still in my bottom 5. Why'd you put them in the bottom 5, even with a record of 3-8, and there being 3 2-win teams?
I might have screwed that up. Hang on. Let me see. Yeah, nope, I screwed that up. Sorry. No, did I? Let me take a look. Okay, that's right. That's right. Let me come here. Okay, hang on. I gotta fix some stuff real quick. So let me fix a thing because I might have.
Okay.
I have
So,
things.
well, while you're doing that, I put Jacksonville as the worst team because I think some people, me included, thought that they might have a chance at a wild card spot, and they're 2-9, and right now, if the season ended today, they would have the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
So that gives me a reason to put them at number 32.
Okay, and I don't mind that.
And with your opinion of the Cleveland Browns, with how they've handled the Deshaun Watson situation, I can see why you would. And between how they've handled the Deshaun Watson situation and how poorly they've played after rallying and getting a playoff based off the strength of their defense and coaching up backup quarterbacks to still make the playoffs, to have a 3-8 record, I could see that as a reason to have them a little lower since they're doing so badly against maybe some hopeful optimism with how their season ended last year.
I know why. Our wins and losses got completely screwed up this week.
Oh, okay. Again.
Yeah. So I had trusted. I think I did it this week. I don't remember, and I think I screwed it up. So because of that, I was going off of that. We'll go with it. I'll go with these rankings anyway. I'll still stand by it.
It's not a bad take. Not a bad take. I think
they're a terrible team. So
All right, number 31, I have the New York Football Giants.
this is where I actually do have the Tennessee Titans. So, you know.
We're not that far off on the Tennessee Titans as I have them at number 30.
Okay, at 30, I have the Giants. At 29, I have the Carolina Panthers. Oh, wait, you need to do your... Oh, yeah, you did your 30. 29, I have the Panthers.
My 29 is where I put the Cleveland Browns.
Okay. And then at 28, this is where I have the Chicago Bears.
Number 28 is where I put the Vegas Raiders.
Okay. 27 is where I put the Raiders, and 26 is where I put the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. So at number 27 is where I put the Carolina Panthers. And I have the Bears at number 26.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I talk about how much I hate them and how terrible they are, but man,
But they're working their way down there, Mike. They really are. They're working their way down there.
They are, yeah.
But if it came down to it, you know, that the Bears have beaten the Jaguars, I think they could beat the Jets. I think they've beaten the Titans and the Jaguars, who are lower than them. I think they would beat the Giants. And I'm fairly confident I think that they would beat the Raiders and the Browns.
Yeah, and
So
I
in
agree.
keeping that in mind, that's why I had to put them at 26.
Okay.
All right, Mike, the top 10.
Okay.
Mike, at number 1, I have a new team,
Yeah?
the Detroit Lions.
Welcome to the club. All I can say is welcome to the club. They are the top team in the NFL right now. But they're followed very closely by the Buffalo Bills.
I put the Buffalo Bills here too.
Yeah.
When you beat the best team and the number 1 team, you deserve to go up.
Yep. And
number 3 is where I have the Kansas City Chiefs. So they didn't
Me too.
They didn't go far. They didn't go far.
Me too. How do you not pick? I mean, how do you think that they're gonna be anything but the best team? Like, man, these top 3 are hard to pick from. If somebody told me today to pick the Super Bowl, I don't know. These are the 3. I'm not even going to question anybody else. I'm not going to put anybody else in the conversation for the Super Bowl right now. I'm sorry. I know there are people that are going to come back at me and tell me that Deshaun Watson deserves to be. No. Or not Deshaun Watson. That the Ravens and Lamar Jackson deserve to be in the conversation. No, they don't. They just don't.
The defense cannot defend the pass.
Nope. So, yeah.
All right, and here's where I think our rankings will start to differ, Mike. At number 4 is where I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Whoa,
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Whoa, Rich, we need to get you to a doctor. You must be feeling sick.
I don't like it. I don't like it either.
I don't have an answer other than somebody call 911. Rich is having an emergency. And
I don't like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you got to give respect to the wins they've been able to get. That you got to give respect to the record.
Yep.
With the results, if I had factored in the Thursday night game against the Browns, would they be in the top? Would they be in the top 5? No. Would they still be in the top 10? Yes, because they're leading their division.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm sorry, Rich. The 4th best team in the league is the Minnesota Vikings. They just are. They are. If we play the head-to-head game, which is what you do at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm trying to do on the bottom.
What you used as an argument at the bottom. Who do you have winning Tomorrow's game is Minnesota versus the Steelers. Who do you have winning that game?
I'd probably take the Vikings.
And that's why I put them there.
Okay, and that's fair. I'm not that far off on the Vikings.
At number 5, Rich, I have the Philadelphia Eagles.
So do I, Mike. So do I. That Commanders win, I think, is what got them back up into the top 5 for me.
Yep, 100%. The Eagles are a great team, and yeah, that's what, when you beat a good team, when you beat a top 10 team, you go up. That's what happened. So number 6, this is where I have the Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way.
All right, 6 is where I have the Vikings.
Okay. Again, we just flip-flop those two. Again, I went based on what I would argue is my eye test, which is what I'm seeing, the Vikings are a better team. But I do agree that the Steelers, I'm wondering, Rich.
I guess if anything, Mike, I am rewarding a team that is exceeding the expectations, both as a biased fan that hates the Steelers, but also trying to stay neutral and saying that they're definitely playing a lot better than I thought they would.
Yep.
Coming into a season where they weren't sure who was going to be starting at quarterback, or having that argument of them starting off undefeated with Justin Fields, but still sticking to their guns and saying Wilson's our starting quarterback.
I would even argue, though, the Vikings, you had great expectations, and then they lost JJ. And neither one of us had them being in contention for the division. We had them in the basement of the division.
We did.
I would say this is a higher expectation for me, or this is a higher vault over expectations than what I had the Steelers doing. Because as soon as JJ went down, I said this is going to be a gifted year where they will end up with a top 5 pick. I 100% thought they were going to end up with a top 5 pick, and they would be a lot better off. Boy, was I wrong. So, let's get to number 7. Who you got, Rich?
I put the Baltimore Ravens here. They got a tough schedule, and they've had some good victories, but I'm still scratching my head about how do you lose those games to the Browns and the Raiders?
And that's why I took them
albeit close losses, but they were still losses.
That's why I took them out of the took them out of the top 10.
Yeah,
I think not in the top 10.
And I think for me, maybe this is where I'm being biased as a team that I thought would be doing better, and I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because of their tough schedule.
Yeah, even with a tough schedule, your losses are losses, and I can't put them that high in the rankings. They're out of the top. I'm not even gonna. They're in 11th for me. At number 7, this is where I have the Washington Commanders.
I put the Commanders here. I put the Commanders at number 8, actually.
Okay, that's a respectable spot for them. But I think the Houston they are better than the Houston Texans. The loss this week to the Eagles, it's a divisional game. B, we both have the Eagles at number 5. I'm not mad at that loss. The Texans beat up on a terrible Cowboys team. They're expected to win that game, so I can't have them vault. So, okay, who do you have at number 9?
This is where I put the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I have the LA Chargers here.
All right, I'm not that far off on the Chargers. I put them at number 10.
Do I have to say who I put at 10, Rich?
I got a feeling they're the team that I put at number 11.
How is it that our team, our basement dwelling team, ends up playing 3 teams in the top 10 as like 6 of their last 8 games are against teams in the top 10? And this last week they played the Green Bay Packers and lost. They should have gone. Thinking about that game more, they should have lost. I should have put them down even more. I apologize for that, but yeah, that was bad. Okay, with that, Rich, any surprises for you for this week on where you ended up with somebody? Or anybody you think I'm going to be surprised at where you have them?
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos, who I put at number 12.
Whoa. Actually, I'm not shocked.
Okay.
And that's because I have them at 13.
All right, so we're not that far off. Where'd you put the Arizona Cardinals, Mike?
The Arizona Cardinals, I have at 14.
Okay, I have them at 13, so I guess we're still not that far off.
Yeah. So, Rich, let's just do it. Let's just run down the gamut. We're going to keep going. So, number 11 is where I have the Baltimore Ravens. I said that already. You said you have the Packers at 11. At 12, this one's maybe a bit of a stretch, but I put the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, I have the Falcons a little bit lower.
Okay, and I'm not mad. Who do you have at 12? You said the Denver Broncos.
12 I put the Broncos. 13 I put the Cardinals.
Okay, 14 is where I put the Cardinals. So, And who do you got at 14, Rich?
That's where I put the Dirty Birds.
Okay, so, again, with exception of the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers, our 11 through 15, we haven't done 15.
Same team, but slightly different order. My number 15 team, I put the Rams here.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I put the Niners because I have more faith that they will do better the second half of the year. But at 16, I put the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. I have the Seahawks at 16, the Niners at 17.
Okay. At 17, I have the Indianapolis Colts. This is the team I think you are going to tell me I have overrated.
I'm looking at them as a 5-6 team.
Yep.
But I think even though they are 5-6, I have some other teams ahead of them.
Okay.
That I think that I think are better teams. And I think if you did the head-to-head, all right, if these two teams played each other, who would be better?
Oh, and I probably would put them losing some of those games, but I didn't use that metric. I used a couple other things. At number 18, this is where I end up with the Rams.
I put the Bengals here.
Okay, Bengals are at 19 for me. Who do you got at 19, Rich?
19 is where I put the Buccaneers.
Who you got at 20?
The Miami Dolphins.
Okay. This is where I have the Buccaneers. 21 is where I have the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. The 21 is where I put the Colts, and I have the New Orleans Saints. They're no longer the 8s to me because they've been playing better. So they're back to being the Saints, and they're at 22.
This is where I have the Dolphins. Again, when it comes down to everything, Tua, you can't trust him. At 23, the Dallas Cowboys.
Me too.
Yep. At 24, Rich, this is where I have the New England Patriots.
I put the Jets here.
Okay.
But I had the Patriots at number 25.
I have the Jets at 25.
Okay. And then the 26, we've already mentioned this one, but this is where I put the Bears.
And this is where I put the Jacksonville Jaguars. 27, I had the Raiders, and we did 27 through. So we're good. That is our power rankings for the week. Not super far off on most of them. But, yeah. Rich, let's make a pit stop in the NASCAR corner as we have some movements to talk about. Go ahead and give it to us.
All right. So we're going to go into the NASCAR corner. For some off-season news, the NASCAR Corner is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. You can find them in Moline, Illinois, and also on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, news came out this week that we have 2 new drivers coming into the fold for full-time Cup rides, and a sponsor moving to a new team. Riley Herbst was announced as that he will be joining 2311 as they gain a third charter, even though they're in a charter disagreement with NASCAR.
So did they buy a charter from another team?
Before the new charter agreement came about, they had an agreement to get one of SHR's charters added to them.
So, okay. So does this have a charter with it, or does it not have a charter? Because if it doesn't have a charter, then it's just they're fielding a third team.
Yeah, so they get a third team.
Okay.
So hopefully the charter agreement works out and you don't have another driver having to qualify to earn a place in the race. But Riley Herbst comes up from Xfinity to join Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace as teammates.
Yep.
For Toyota.
Ryan Priest is going to pilot the third charter for RFK, and that's going to be the number 60 car. Okay.
Not a bad choice, I think.
Nope.
Pierce has shown some promise, and maybe getting behind an organization that has a little bit more pull in the Ford camp than what SHR had. Be a good move for him. And with that, it was announced with Pierce going over to RFK that Kroger Foods would shift sponsorship from JD Doherty to RFK Racing.
Okay. As
I guess they're going to be spread their sponsorship dollars across all 3 cars.
Okay. I mean, good on them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Searching for other stuff to talk about besides football.
Hey, that's good. Real quick, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about the Masked Singer in about 2.7 seconds after I tell you about our esports stuff. Rich, if they want to follow, if they're leaving us right now, after I do the esports stuff, but before the Masked Singer, where can they check us out?
Look us up wherever you download all of your other podcasts. Apple, Spotify, and Google, just to name a few.
Okay.
And Mike, if they're listening to us in podcast land and they'd like to interact with the show and be a part of the live feed, where can they find that?
That's on YouTube, youtube.com. I think it's /ballsandsticks. I don't remember. But you can find us on YouTube. And if they want to do poll questions, Rich, where is that done? I forget.
Look us up on Facebook, either at Fans of Balls and Sticks or Balls and Sticks. And you can also find the poll by looking up Mike or I as well.
Yep. With that, Rich,
Mike, it was state for your esport team. How'd they do, Mike?
So we ended up the bracket really hurt us. We ended up being on the top half of the bracket, so that means we're the number 4 seed. 8 teams go. We're the last team to get a bye, but that means in the second round, you know who we have to face?
The number 1 team.
The number 1 team. We took it to them. We did great. So we won the first match. That one actually went fairly. I mean, we've played that team before. We knew we knew that we were better. We just had to play like we should, and we did. And we handled that game. Round 2, we played Forest City, which great team. Their coach and I are good friends. We love it. We lost. Too terribly close. So in Smash Brothers, it's 5 players versus 5 players, 5v5, and in that each person gets 3 stocks. At the end of all 5 of those, there's 15 points available. Well, there's a maximum of 15 points for one side. If that, no, that can't, no. Yeah, 15 is what it should. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, 15 is. Anyway, whatever it is. Then we ended up tying both rounds, and the tiebreaker is the first, the best one stock 5. So first person to die in a battle loses that tiebreaker round. We went to 5 tiebreaker games. Both of the rounds that we did, by far it was the best game of the entire esports competition for the fall sports. We got many compliments on that game. Not just us. For City, everybody was talking about how awesome that match was. We didn't know, either team could have won. My guys had a couple of times where they did some things that cost us the match. Legitimately, I can point out mistakes both rounds that cost us the match. Just period, flat out cost us the match. That happens. Mistakes. So we end up going down. We play our losers bracket first round, or the first round we play in the losers bracket, which is the winner of the first round of the losers bracket. Handled that pretty easily. That was the 3rd place team. Then we went up against the 5th place team, and the 8th place team, and we destroyed them. And walked away 3rd place. So it was great. Got home 10:30 last night, or got to the school about 10:30, and came home and went to bed. I still haven't even unpacked the car. My car still has stuff in it that I need to get out of there, but I'm just. Then we hosted Thanksgiving today, so it was yeah. Okay, with that, it's time to talk about the Masked Singer. This is going to be quick because neither one of us really knows who this guy is, but we kind of know. We understand who he is now. Anyway, let's talk about the night in Masked Singer. Rich, as I think we both enjoyed the night. I think this group C, other than last week's Macaroon, these top 4 are solid contenders. I thought Group B was the best one, the best group, but now I don't know that I agree with that.
It's definitely a solid group, Mike.
Yeah.
Because this is how they have you vote. Who was your favorite performance of the night on Miley Cyrus' night of all nights?
Royal Night.
I like the Royal Night, and I think that's who the finals is going to come down to. I think it's going to be the Royal Night, but to be different, I'm going to go with the Strawberry Shortcake.
She did great too. By the way, I said to Dan, I said to my wife that I am just glad that that I don't have to vote on this one, because it would have been so hard to vote on that. Who your favorite is? I think everybody that sang in this one deserved to be there, and I think all of them, you could make a good argument, should go on. So you have to pick the worst. I didn't know who I thought the worst was the Ice King, but I thought it was so close. I thought it was about as close as. I mean, I think that Wednesday night was closer than we've seen in the competition.
Yeah, but if anything, Mike, I think our theory of when a judge has the correct person picked, and a lot of the other panels are also agreeing with who that pick is.
Yep.
That's who ends up going home.
Yeah, and
that was the case with the Ice King this week.
Yeah, no, I can go with that. Ice King goes home. So, Rich, did either of you have a guess on who it was?
I kind of liked the Shia LaBeouf pick.
Yeah, I thought that one was good when after going through the singing. I know we heard him sing last week, but I don't remember it all the way. And so I was like, with the clue package and especially the emphasis of you knew me as a little kid and I told my story and the fact that it was a royal piece and he begged not to tell his story even though he did a story that kind of happened with an interview with someone in the royal family over the last year, and that was Prince Henry, right? Prince Harry.
Yeah.
Whichever one, the younger brother. Anyway, so I thought that could have been a spot to be in, but it wasn't. It was
Drake Bell.
Some child star from Nickelodeon time. And
in the early days.
Days of Nickelodeon. And he was one of the people that was a victim of the terrible things that happened at Nickelodeon in those early days. That's all I'm going to say about that, because that's all I know. But, yeah. So, Masked Singer is on Thanksgiving? Or is it? Yes,
yeah. They are putting it on Thanksgiving. So just to name a few shows that Drake Bell was on, he was on Drake and Josh, Found a Way, Zoe 101.
I've heard of Zoe 101.
And I guess the Kids' Choice Award that came in is that he was a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award winner for Favorite TV Actor in 2005.
Don't know anything about any of that.
Yeah, neither do I.
By the way, that's not the early days of Nickelodeon. 05.
I guess it's not, but I guess there was still some stuff that was going on at Nickelodeon in the 2000s.
That was so the 2000s was a terrible time of it. There was, there's been accusations about the iCarly series and a bunch of other stuff. Not getting into it at this point. That's not what this show's about. But yeah. Anyway, Drake Bell was eliminated. I thought he had a good singing voice, like legit good singing voice.
So did I.
I didn't think anybody, but again, I don't think anybody deserves to go home. And so we'll see what happens.
Double elimination night Thanksgiving, and it's going to have a Peanuts theme.
Yeah. So watch it, I suppose. I don't know. We'll try to watch it, I'm sure. So
yeah, it'll probably be recorded for us because I think we'll be with family while that's going on, and also my Uncle Steve is a big Packers fan, so we'll have the Packers game on, not the Masked Singer.
My whole week next week is family time essentially. So anyway, with that, Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll that outro, but make sure to tune in to us next week. So be safe, everybody, as you're traveling for your Thanksgiving plans.
Don't do anything stupid Blackout Wednesday wise. Bye.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.